welcome back. Today we're going to be doing our last genre of fantasy creature that I've noticed out there, and that's the alien fantasy creature, okay? So this is a fantasy creature that is supposed to look different from things that we come in contact with in our everyday life, okay? So we're trying to get away from things like nose, mouth, eyes, the kind of face that we see on a human, but we also see on like a dog or a cat or animals that we see around us a lot. We're trying to get away from that and go with something that looks more alien, or trying to get away from limbs the way we kind of see limbs on ourselves, right? Or on dogs and cats and things like that, okay? So it doesn't mean we can't base it off any animal reference. We're just looking for those kind of animals that are more different than what we're used to seeing. Things like jellyfish, things like insects. We don't see them up close normally, right? So when you look at them up close, they look very alien to us, or it can. So we're taking those kind of elements and putting it together to make something that looks very different or out of this world, okay? So let's look at some examples, and then we're gonna make our own alien fantasy creature.
Okay, as we look at aliens here, I want to make a distinction. What we're looking for are not aliens like this, okay, from Star Trek, where they're basically human, and a lot of them look, almost exactly human with a few little things added, or even from Star Wars, right? Star Wars is one of my favorite things, but a lot of these still very humanoid, right? Maybe they have some alien masks on, or hands or limbs or something, and some do get a little further away from human, but still basically humanoid, okay? What I'm talking about are aliens that are really trying to be something completely different. Okay, so let's look at a few. So let's just look at this, a classic alien from the movie Alien, right? And there were several of them. And trying to get a little bit away. So this first one looks very humanoid, but the next one a little bit less humanoid in, the limbs that it has, the lack of eyes. So the exoskeleton, again, still you could base it a lot of things off this world, especially the first one, but trying to get away from, what looks normal. So here is some alien concept art from the first Halo, and you can see these early grunts are a little less humanoid with the head sunken and all that. On these ones, the elbows kind of not even being there. Legs, they're bending differently than humans, and they got a little more human as the final concept got realized, right? Obviously, the proportions are different than a human, but they have a head, they have arms, they have legs, and all that. So this other alien race in the franchise, the Flood, takes over humans and aliens, and you can see these ones look a little more humanoid. But here's like the parasitic kind of form here, and it looks a lot more alien looking. Like it looks almost plant-like, right? In the way it has like almost like roots and almost like plant-like looking appendages and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. And this is another form. I think it also takes over humans and other sentient creatures, but it looks a lot more alien, right? Its limbs are almost more like branches or tentacles kind of thing, and then the face and kind of sunken into the body and the body shape and all that. So here are some aliens from a board game called Tyranids, and here they have a bug-like look and crab-like look, but definitely kind of gave it some more alien-looking features, and the way they did some of like the exoskeleton kind of bones on the outside and the multiple limbs, the way they have weapons, but they're kind of like part of their body, right? So this like gun here is like kind of attached to its arm. It still does have a face, but they're getting there. This one looks a little more alien, right? And the way the head is kind of set, and it's tiny like limbs kind of thing. And okay, this is from a video game called StarCraft, which actually was kind of based off the Warhammer 40K world, and they look very similar, so they can almost be the same species, but multiple limbs, same kind of thing, all the same kind of attributes as the ones we just looked at. So here are some from some other movies. This is from The Arrival, and this is some artwork that was not used, and looks very different, right? A lot of tentacles, a lot of wavy things going on. We can still see a head on this one, but definitely looks very alien. This other one, I mean, besides the eye, I don't know, a floating little pod thing, right? We can see an eye there, but the rest of it has definitely got an alien feel to it. This is the form that was kind of used in the movie, and you mostly saw it from like just the bottom fourth of it. So it looked very alien, right? With this just like kind of looked like a I don't know, like octopus, squid-looking thing, and it had more of an upper body, which you couldn't really see in the movie. But as I see it in the concept, the upper body, I mean, it's very alien for sure, but it actually resembles humans a lot more than I thought it did. I mean, like a chest, right? It's got like pectoralis muscles, rib cage, and even a head up there. So I was actually a little disappointed when I saw the concept and saw, and even like insinuated arms, which is kind of odd. I think they could have really made this. They didn't have to make it so close to a human in the way they did this upper part. But in the movie, again, most of the time you just see this bottom thing, and I thought that looked very alien the way they did it. This is another alien from a movie called Cloverfield Lane, and just it still has a head and kind of arms and legs and body and all that. It has an extra set of arms, so okay, that always looks a little more alien when we see multiple or an extra set of limbs, and the arms and legs do look very different than anything that we see bendy. Okay, here's just a random last few aliens I kind of have come across. This one, in terms of the limbs, the head sunken into the body, can't really see any eyes. There might be, I just can't see any. The way the mouth is kind of shaped, so really kind of changing things up. Pretty different looking, right? Still has arms and legs, but again, the multiple sets of limbs definitely help give it an alien feel, and the shape of the body, and then the multiple eyes. Again, things you can take from insects, maybe. So again, you see things borrowing from references that we have in our world: tusks, eyes, mouth, but really trying to give it another feel. Okay, and now let's go ahead and look at what we're going to use. We're going to use a cobra and a jellyfish, and we're going to use this as our reference and kind of put it together, and I think we can come up with something pretty alien looking.
I've always thought jellyfish are really weird, so I'm thinking a jellyfish kind of topish looking thing. I'm really not sure where this is going. I might have to start over. I have no idea. All right, so it's got those weird tentacles that kind of come down, which I think look totally weird. I don't want to give it like a snake body or something. I don't know if I can. Let me try and attach this to a snake body. Let's see if this works. Okay, so let's get this open. Jellyfish tendrily thing. Okay, so I got snake body, kind of like the cobra, but then I'm going like jellyfishy looking head thing. With all those funky looking tendrily things. All right, that is pretty weird looking so far. Let's see if I can communicate it. It's gonna be a tricky part. Okay, I don't want to give it any normal eyes, so I think I'll just leave it. This thing just feels with its all these little suckery things. All right, instead of a smooth snake body, I want to give it like a jellyfishy kind of saggy kind of body, because that's grosser. Saggy skin is gross. Give it a little like something on the end there, like a little fin. I don't even know. All right, well, I dare say that might look alienish. It's a little easier to come up with than I thought. All right, just knocking it back again with the eraser.
Okay, for now, for the black pencil, for the detail. Okay, trying to give it this round, kind of inward curving feel. And I want to give it like a lot of texture, like make it round and bumpy and uneven. Kind of like the top of the jellyfish, you know. So just doing a lot of texture lines. And kind of want to make it like curled under, like it curls underneath there. Okay, gonna give it like little wart kind of things on its skin. Just add to the uneven kind of feel. Okay. This is where the like big old jellyfish middle section's gonna come out of under there, and kind of making it dark up as it gets towards the top part. So yeah, this is the weird shape to me. This like middle tentacle thing where it's all crumpled up. It looks like a ribbon or something. But man, I can't think of anything else like any animal we normally deal with has anything like that. That's what I think looks so strange. One of the things that looks so strange about the jellyfish is that middle section. So I'm gonna keep it like, yeah, so I'm gonna keep it darker under there. So I'm just adding a little more texture. Okay. So around the curves, I'm gonna make the details a little closer like that, right? And then when it flattens out, like in the middle, a little less detailed. I'm just gonna, it looks a little uneven there. I'm gonna kind of try and even that out. I think it went up too high there. It's a little better. Okay, now trying to get this uneven, crumpled shape here. I'm not even sure if it's like multiple. I mean, it looks like it if I look at the bottom. If it looks like multiple, I don't know what to call them except tentacles, or it's like one that splits. I'm not sure. That's part of the weirdness to me. Maybe this alien uses this to like absorb its food, or maybe it's like its sensor or something. Maybe this is like its main, like senses everything through this kind of tentacly kind of thing. Or it could be it's like, yeah, I think it's food absorption. And it just like lays this mass of stuff over its food and just absorbs it all. Maybe leaves the bones behind or something weird. I just want to darken that up in there, kind of really, so we can really see the tentacles coming out of that top part, right? I think, yeah, you want to add detail to certain parts, to make it distinct, right? To really communicate what you're trying to get across. Okay. Yeah, let's I don't know. I think I'm gonna add the little tentacles as well. And I'm not sure if I should do them first or after I do the body because they're so thin. I guess I'll do the body first and then add the little tentacles later. Okay, so yeah, I don't want to give it like a snake-looking body. I think I want to keep the kind of saggy jellyfish kind of look up on the top there. I think that feels a little more alien, right, than the snake kind of smooth body. And you know what? I think it just looks a little grosser, a little more like something you wouldn't want to come across with that just loose kind of skin. All right, trying to hint at some kind of a structure underneath, maybe muscle, maybe tendon or something, and then have that loose skin kind of hanging all over and sagging down. So a little tricky to kind of make it distinct from those tentacles. I'm gonna kind of, yeah, I don't want them to get lost in all that saggy detail. I gotta try and find a way to keep them like distinct, maybe by adding a little contrast, right? I can add a little shadow back on the skin, maybe keep the tentacles brighter, but definitely something you want to think about when you're doing your drawings. You don't want to lose certain aspects of it in detail, right? In too much detail, and you lose the figure-ground relationship, right? You lose what's in front, what's behind, just kind of mushes together. And that's always something to be aware of. And the general rule, and sometimes it's hard to do, especially if I'm trying to do a lot of detail like this thing, is you want, if you have like a very detailed thing in front, you want to keep the thing behind, whatever's behind it, maybe a little less detail, right? So that way you can see what's in front, or vice versa, right? If you want something to be distinct in front and it's got less detail, then maybe you have, something behind it more detail. It's just a way to kind of keep things separate. You can also use lights and darks, right? So I'm trying to darken up this skin in the back here to keep it separate from the tentacles in the front. So, and again, you go dark in front, light in back, or vice versa. Light in front, dark in back. Did I say that? I can't remember if I said that twice. Whatever. The either way. If it's dark in the front, you go light in the back. If it's light in the front, you go dark in the back. And I'm not talking it has to be black or white. Obviously, that's the most distinct color you could do in terms of making something stand out. But just generally darker, like a darker tone, right? Maybe a gray or, against white, or maybe a dark gray against a light gray or something like that. All right, I want this skin to look kind of just saggy, and maybe if I was painting it, maybe I don't want to make it like kind of translucent-y. So it's like a really thin kind of layer of skin or something where you can kind of see organs and stuff, or, muscles and things below it, or yeah. So it's going to be tricky adding the other tentacles and not having them get lost as well in all this detail. I just want to add some little texture details to this part. Keep them looking nice and uneven and bumpy. figure out how to do that. Yeah, I want this like kind of tube looking thing on there on the side. I want to kind of sag out there on the bottom as the skin kind of just plops down. All right, just working around the back corner here. This thing, its snake-like body kind of wraps behind it. Gonna give it a tone there. Remember, as we get further in the back, we don't have to add quite as much detail, you know, as we do in the front. And you want to give your attention to what's in the foreground, and then, like, you know, let things kind of get less detailed as they get further away from, you know, further away from the front. Okay, just kind of defining the edge there, add a little detail. Okay. A lot of it's just random detail, you know, just kind of feel it out. Maybe pick out some things like a structure and then feel out the rest. Okay, let's see what one of these tentacles looks like here. And I don't want to make it just hanging down like on the jellyfish. I want this to look like maybe it's like its appendages, you know, like it uses these to like pick things up, grab things, pull things to its mouth thing, that middle section, which digests its food. So I want these kind of like out and like feeling. They're kind of reaching, or, you know, looking like they're kind of probing around the area around it. Okay, gonna just erase a little bit there. Let's see. Just gonna pull this tentacle out. This one's gonna be hard to see. I'm gonna have to make a little space for it here. But this one's gonna be easily lost in all the detail. Okay, let's try and get this one here. And I don't know if, yeah, I try to put these little like suckery looking ends on them, so it has like little things it can grip with. And just have to erase a little bit where the tentacles are crossing each other. Okay. Just trying to keep the different things defined, which is kind of hard to do when there's so much jumbled up what would you say, I don't know, organic looking shapes, right? I've got all these little you know, shapes there that are not what do I say, not regular, not even, right? Uneven shapes, non-symmetrical. There we go. It's also non-symmetrical, so it's kind of harder to keep the form, right? The people looking at it, even me looking at it right now. So gotta find ways to do that. And, you know, as I said, lights and darks really helps a lot. But we'll see how much I can do in this little sketch here. Okay, I'm gonna make it seem like there's one behind there, coming out from behind the larger mass of tentacles there. Okay, is that enough? I think that's enough for now. Let's see. Let's try and get the back of this thing worked out here. I'm just continuing this saggy looking skin and just trying to insinuate like this tendon-y looking thing underneath there. Okay, coming around here. Okay, trying to use the folds to kind of define the direction that the body is going in. And finishing off the end there. I want it saggy and irregular all the way up to the tip. Okay. Just throwing some random texture there. Kind of giving it a little bit of an underside there with some shade. Now this little end it's got here, I'm not sure, it looks like a leaf or something. I don't know. Maybe it also uses it to grip things, who knows. Okay, just going quick and random with the detail there. Once again, the stuff further away can just be a little less thought through, or a little less worked on, like the front here. Really want to help define this front. So in fear of losing detail or losing my shape, I'm going to kind of darken up this contour a bit. The contour is just the outside, like, line. And hopefully keep my jelly snake thing, keep the overall shape of it kind of visible, so you can see it. Okay, and if I darken up that contour, I gotta definitely darken up the front. So just a rule of thumb, things that are darker will tend to look closer to us than things that are lighter. Right? As things get further away, generally you don't see the darks as dark. Okay, well, this guy's almost done here. Okay, just going to continue to kind of make this outline a little more distinct. And just about to wrap this guy up here for all he's worth. Oh, so that's just gray there, just adding a little bit of detail in there. And I'm sure I could spend a lot more time. We could work this out and really try and distinguish the shapes. But we are just trying to get an exercise done here for you. And going to call it a day in a second. So if I just darken this up, I just want to make sure that middle tentacly section stands out. So I'm going to darken up the gaps there. And I think that'll just about do it for this guy. All right, well, there's our alien. So hopefully he looks, unique enough, looks alien enough. And just get a little more detail. Hard to know when to stop. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think I'd run into this creature on this world. All right, there he is. Well, hope you got a good alien yourself, and hope you had some fun. And I hope to catch you guys on the next drawing lesson. All right, have a good one.